Good morning or good day. And because we have such a full agenda, we're going to get started. So, hi there. I'm Linda Dillon with the Council of Love, and welcome old friends and new friends to Valentine's celebration of love, the Council of Love's birthday. Friends from all over the world. My Colt Circle, including the Colt Council of Love teachers and coaches, my business freedom friends, my former colleagues who are all indeed dear friends, my sweet neighbors here under the dome in Port St. Lucie, City of Light, my Gayok friends, my healer friends, my brilliant channeler friends, my Hay House friends, and especially my sisters and nieces. It's really wonderful to see you. And what do we all have in common? We are a soul family. We are all creatives, and we're all here committed to reclaiming love on this beautiful planet. To celebrate the Council's birthday and to celebrate World Love Day. And also, thank you for being here to help me celebrate and release my new book, woohoo, The Spiritual Rebellion, Reclaiming Unity, Love, and Divine Sovereignty. And even as we get started, I want to say a special hello and happy birthday to our two Valentine angels, Tracy and Terrain. Happy birthday, ladies. To me, today is not just about celebrating love. It's about celebrating and reclaiming our sovereignty, our right to live on a planet of love, and our willingness to create it. So welcome as we come together heart to heart to heart to share the joy, the hope, and the promise. Everyone here, each and every one of you, is so splendidly unique in what you bring and what you have to offer to this journey on earth. So here's to each of us. Cheers. Wish I had that glass of wine. And to all our new beginnings. This has been a year of such enormous change, the challenges, the breakthroughs, and the clarity. And while we could probably say that and feel that about several of the past years, particularly in this post-pandemic world, this is different because I see and I feel and I observe myself stepping up in ways that I've never done before, yearning in ways and at levels I've never felt before. Many of us are feeling it, that open-hearted vulnerability, which is the key indicator, the key quality of a Nova being. Change is not only in the air, it's here, anchored on Gaia, in each of our hearts, our thoughts, and even our plans. Even when those plans still seem somewhat amorphous, we couldn't have had a better example of stepping forward than the wonderful monks, the Walk for Peace, which concluded on Wednesday in Washington, D.C. I'm sure all of you, just like me, have been so deeply touched and affected by that sacred act, by this powerful grassroots example of love in action. Not political, not about making money, just heartfelt commitment to not only saying but demonstrating we can do this. We can change the world heart to heart to heart. How? By simply being present, by being true to ourselves. Our themes for today are really simple. Love and joy of choosing love with a little side dish of unity, of connecting, of committing. So let's get started. First with a prayer, and then anchoring in our hearts, then a channeling, followed by some insights and exchanges. But first, a little meditation that the Mother inserted in the wee small hours of this morning. And it's not just a meditation, it's a download, it's an attunement. So even as we get started today, I want you to close your eyes and drop into your heart. Open your heart, that great big Valentine heart. Feel it expand. And I want you to feel as if your entire being is turning into a heart-shaped sponge. Not plastic, not synthetics, but one of those glorious sponges that drifts in the Mother's infinite ocean of time and space, of frequency and dimensions. So take a deep breath in through your nose, hold it for a second, and breathe out. And as you do, breathe out with me. Drop into your heart, drop into that Valentine sponge. For me, it's bright pink. What is it for you? It's porous, and it's open, and it's receiving. And as you look and feel and observe all these molecules, these waves of energy, gently caressing you, infusing you, we're going to listen to a song, a brand new song to celebrate the Council of Love's birthday, composed by Isaac, and let it infuse you. So go into your heart even deeper, breathe, relax, my friends, as we begin. Deeper. And I think I need to remind you, Isaac, to share your sound. Deeper. And deeper. Okay, no music, just the sound of silence, the sound of love. And what does it feel like? We're all really good at giving. We're all really good at sharing. But sweet angels, open your heart, not working at it, just receive. You deserve this. You deserve this. Because as I listen to this song, which we will hear at the end of our meeting today, I heard as clear as day, we are immortal. We have always, again and again, chosen love. That's why we keep coming back, to be the fulfillment of the promise. So thanks for showing up. Not just today, but every day. And saying yes to love. Now, while you're still in this sacred space, I will say our opening prayer. And yes, prayer is important because it's how we're coming together heart to heart to heart to express our intentions, our requests. It's the beginning step of the creation process. So go deeper. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, angels and archangels, beloved brothers and sisters of the stars, ascended masters, enlightened beings, and council of love, we come together today as sisters and brothers, as one team, one circle, one family. We open and offer ourselves as the way showers and anchors for the unfoldment of the divine plan. We welcome this birth of a new age, a new beginning. We stand here today on behalf of billions, and we ask for your presence. We ask for your sacred blessings. We ask for your guidance, your protection, your love and light, and the full infusion of the Mother and Father's divine radiance. We pray for the full awakening of our diamond selves and pray for the expansion of purity, courage, balance, and compassion. We joyfully declare our intention for peace on earth in unity and harmony with all. We pray that all doubt regarding our power to create a world of peace and love be eliminated. That any sense of ego or self-importance also be eliminated from our fields, that we may join together as one circle in heart, mind, will, purpose, kindness, gentleness, compassion, and vulnerability, today, tomorrow, and always. Please guide us, each one of us, and as one circle of love, as we stand here, hip to hip, shoulder to shoulder, heart to heart, as servants of the Mother. We ask and we pray for your blessings for each and every one of us and for all upon this sacred planet. Let this message, let this communique go forward and touch and open the hearts of every person upon Gaia and far beyond. Amen. I step aside for our opening channel, our opening greeting. Greetings, I am Mary. I am Mary, I am Mother. I am one. And yes, dearest hearts, I welcome you. I welcome you with all that I am and with all that you are to this sacred circle of one that you have always and in all ways been part of. I know you, and you know me. You know this unified field of one, which is not just pockets and parcels. The universe is not segmented, dearest heart. That has been a very human, and in other realities, other timelines, other planetary systems, that has been your imagination, an invention, a clever invention that has only resulted in feelings of isolation, separation, and lack. It is not of my creation, and it is not of your essence. Love is not merely the fuel of the universe, of your being, of your heart, of your mind, of your will, of your sacred self. Love is the essence of the universe, of all, of what you may or may not conceive of as all, of that unified field. Now, I do not come to simply give you a lesson in physics, in the physics of love and creation. I come to celebrate. Yes, long ago, and in this life and in this reality, for many decades, we have been celebrating our birthday of this Council of Love. But let me be very clear, we have been celebrating this along with you for eons. There is a reason, sweet angels, why there is at times that you feel brand new and you feel ancient, and that you know in your divine knowing. I have just increased your frequency of divine knowing. You are like a sponge, and that will continue throughout the day, that you are absorbing a higher frequency. You can think of it as an infusion, as an attunement. It matters not. You have already said yes. When you came, when you turned to me, and you said to me, when you said to the Father and all of us, I will go to the planet. Mother, I remember that you created Gaia, that she volunteered to become, in the incredible beauty of diversity, the planet of love, and you created it as a place for us to experience different form and physicality, and to experience love in that form. And you said, I know things have gone awry, and I will go, and I will anchor, and I will activate, and I will be an agent of change, an angel of change, and together we will see the rebirth of sovereignty. And I said to you, are you sure? Because this is a very challenging assignment at moments, and you will feel at times that you have shrunk your being. Yes, we will remind you of the enormity of your sacred self, but you may feel disconnected at moments, child. And you said, it is all right, Mother. It is your dream, and therefore I know it will be. And here we are. Gaia, the kingdoms, the elementals, they have already ascended into a higher frequency. Humanity, in many ways, has resisted unity because there has been a subtlety of those who wish to maintain control, of you losing your unique and beautiful individuation, your unique design, your snowflake soul that has never and will never be replicated. That fantasy, that idea of you being less than is just that. It is an abomination, actually. So on this day, as we join heart to heart to heart, as family, as you, the brave hearts, who have taken on this reconstruction project, let us celebrate. Let us celebrate your victories. Let us celebrate your victories of heart, of mind, of matter. And you say, oh no, Mother, because there is still far too much chaos, far too much hatred and abuse. And why would we take this sacred time to give your energy, our energy, this infusion? No, dear hearts. The key, of course you recognize what has gone awry. You're not blind, and you most certainly are not dumb. But you do not take your sacred essence and feed the beast. You do not breathe in those dark emotions. You transmit the frequency of love, of peace, of hope, of unity. And that, not only on planet, but throughout a multitude of galaxies, we celebrate. So we come to not just celebrate love, we come to celebrate you, whom we love so deeply, so eternally. What does that love mean? That we are in your employ. Let us use that word. It's a very human word in many ways. Far too often, because of the generosity of who you are, you think that you are employed in service to us. And make no mistake, this is a partnership, so of course you are, but you often forget that in this sacred relationship, in this marriage of love, we are in service to you. We do not want, and we do not sit on the sidelines idly wondering if you are going to get it right, whether you will have the celebration, there will be a completion of this mission that you have volunteered for. You do not do this alone. Far from it. And let me reassure you, this mission will be completed and it will be successful. Part of that is my elimination of hatred on this planet. You see the upswell, you see the grassroots movement. Not against, but for freedom, for liberation, for spaciousness of being. So bright angels, sons and daughters, friends, beloveds, You are the cause for celebration because you have held and you do hold that light, that flame, that brilliance of love within thee. And it does not fade. It only grows stronger. So thank you. We are with you, not just in what you think of as the sacred and holy. We are with you. I am with you as you are with me. Farewell. Thank you. Okay. I just briefly want to talk. I think we've already heard what we're talking about today. And what we're talking about, we're not talking over every word that the council gives us. And they've said this since day one, is infused with love. Each letter, the space between the letters. And we have certainly learned this as we have been practicing Sador, the universal language of love. So today isn't just about me being the presenter, channel, talking head. It's about us together, pondering, sharing, and experiencing what's in our hearts. You know, while the webinars with the Council of Love are often termed spiritual or sacred, and I tend to use both of those terms interchangeably, as you'll see in the book. But let me be clear. The biggest question on the table today, what we're chatting about, and what is addressed in the book, is not whether we choose love, but the translation of that, of our spiritual rebellion into the how-tos, into the practical sacred sense. How do we shift in order to anchor the dream in form on planet? And of course, that's already underway. But how do we go further? How do we get from this world that is in so much chaos and so much divisiveness, and at the same time filled with so much hope and determination? How do we get from here to there, to a world that's really based on equity and fairness and unity, balance, to that world that works for everyone? So while today we're being infused, uplifted with incredibly powerful sacred energies, and trust me, you'll feel it. And if you feel a little lightheaded, don't worry about it. Just keep going. Take a sip of water, a piece of chocolate, perfect day for it. I want us to focus on our here and now, though, that path ahead and our how-tos. And those how-tos, those next steps, are already rooted and present in our divine knowing, in our spiritual and human DNA. So what I'm going to do, what I've been guided to do, is to briefly chat about just three things. How do we know love? Why rebellion? That's been a long chat with the mother. But why rebellion? What does this term entail? And three, how do we co-create this shift from division to unity? What's the process? What are the steps going forward? What do they look like, personally and globally? And we certainly have had one of the most moving and genuine examples of this in the past weeks with the Monks' Walk for Peace. Now, obviously, in the 60 minutes, I can't give you everything of the Council's teachings, but we're going to focus on this. And I'm going to bring one of my favorite parts of the book, because in each chapter, there are meditations and downloads in these sections called the Mother's Question. Questions the Mother has channeled through me to walk us through this process of expansion. And we're going to walk through at least one of them today in a few minutes. The Mother's Questions on Unity. So, getting to those 3 questions. So what do we know? How do we know? How do we know love? How do you know love? Now, for years, the Mother and the entire Council has said and taught us that here on Gaia, on Earth, we know love through expression and experience in terms of all kinds of relationships, individual, intimate, familial, friendships, nature, and of course the divine. Now, the most important and starting point being the individual, because if we aren't experiencing love, both within and without, then we can't really fully experience it with others. That is not to say that others do not reflect and activate and teach us about love. They most certainly do. But that for years has been the pat answer. Now, over the last couple of years, this question of how we know love has expanded significantly into divine knowing. That term does not imply that we only know and love through our connection to the divine, through the universe, but rather that it's anchored and has been activated, awakened deep within our being, within our hearts. And I know you've been feeling it. It's what we think of and term our expanded heart consciousness. In terms of the how-tos, we're using our divine knowing to proceed, not wandering around in what I think of as the info desert, but proceeding clearly, bravely, and with focused purpose, not just meandering around. So that's the first expansion. And Mother chose our first meditation to literally expand that even further within you. So your mantra while we're doing this is love and allow, love and allow. Okay, second question. Why rebellion? What does this term entail? Why has the Divine Mother used the term spiritual and sacred rebellion? Rebellion is all about alignment of heart and conscience. You know, we don't hear in the spiritual movements a lot about conscience these days, but that's what rebellion is about. It's about that alignment of heart and conscience. And I would add to that our physical being. We're calling for a rebellion for love, a rebellion for unity, a rebellion for sacred sovereignty, a rebellion of consciousness. Sacred rebellion is internal, which then expresses externally. It begins in the heart. It spreads through coherence. It transforms systems, not just internal systems, systems, by transforming the field. It's all about alignment. I want to quote just really briefly some of what the mothers said to me during our many lengthy conversations about using this term rebellion. And she said, "Dear hearts, angels of change, I choose this title because it embodies action. It speaks to the decision to go forth in form on planet to restore love upon sweet Gaia. Each of you came with unique purpose, fully empowered and entirely capable of creating what serves not only just your beloved self, but the collective. You are weaving a tapestry where no part of the loom is untouched, no color excluded, no thread more important than another. The creation is collaborative, above and below, within and without. We are rebelling not against, but for, declaring that there is another way, a pathway grounded in unity, not in separation, but in love, not in hatred, not in conflict. It's not about turning away, but turning toward our sacred self, towards solutions, towards patterns and behaviors that are creative and inclusive rather than destructive. This rebellion, is not abstract or purely esoteric. It's deeply rooted in the heart. It's rooted in love. And it's anchored in that knowing, that divine knowing of your heart. A knowing that has always lived within us. It's our conscious decision to say there's another way and to live that truth in form. And yes, we all know it is the courage to create what our hearts yearn for without harming others. I remember years and years ago when I was doing those Hour with an Angel shows with Steve Becko, and they would ask, how are we going to change this? And the council consistently gave me this vision of take a different path. They're trying to go straight up the mountain, and there's this beautiful scenic path, which is much easier. So just wave to people and invite them over. When I've been working on this, that's the image that comes back and comes back. Because it's allowing individual and collective intention, inspiration, to blossom. And to blossom intention into action, propelling you, propelling me, and through us into propelling into a world that works for everyone. Effective rebellions are never solitary. And that, my friend, is one of the reasons I've invited you here today. It's viral. Spiritual rebellion, it's not about a book. It's about a movement. And it's about us. Each of us in our beautiful, unique ways, stepping forward, stepping out, like we never have before. Anchoring on planet the new pattern of what it means to be a Nova Gaian. Okay, I'm going to jump to our third question. How do we anchor this shift from division to unity? What's the process? What does stepping up look like, personally and globally? What does unity have to do with sacred rebellion? Just everything. Unity is a return to love. Unity is at the heart of the sacred rebellion. It is the essence, the pulse, the fuel that propels us forward. Unity is not about uniformity. There are more ways than we can even imagine to build Nova Earth. And they're all required, they're all welcomed, and they're certainly all necessary. Because unity is about embracing what we love, starting at the grassroots and then growing it. We're turning away from the systems, beliefs, and patterns that separate us, that diminish us, that deny us our sacred essence. No, unity is not just a concept or an idea. It is a living heart beating vibrantly as we together reconstruct Terra Gaia. Unity is not just a grand gesture or a heroic feat. It is the daily becoming. It is the remembering together, heart to heart to heart. It's about knowing, and this is important. It's about knowing of another person's perspective, feeling their thoughts, emotions, and perceptions, whether in a moment or across lifetimes. It's not about ownership or control. It's compassion, intimacy, a willingness to walk briefly in another person's shoes. Unity in its very essence is a collective experience, and it's not confined to time or space. Don't forget, we're in the time of alignment, of the mother's alignment. So this unity is interdimensional. It flows across timelines, across realms, across dimensions. And so do we. As you anchor as that sponge in the mother's infinite ocean, feel that exchange of you with all. Now, in the mother's questions, the first one on the topic of unity is, of course, where we are in terms of unity with our sacred self. That's the starting point. But from there, she moves us on in terms of explaining how we make this shift to co-creating Nova Earth. And I just want to take a moment, a couple of minutes, to share her question with you. And they are designed, and we've been using them in Speaking Sadar. These questions are for you. So close your eyes and go into your beautiful Valentine heart. And hear and feel this question. Where in your daily life can you choose being united over being right? Where can you soften, beloved, into love? These are not abstract questions. These are invitations to practice. Feel it. Where in your daily life can you choose being united over being right? In the moment you feel the urge to defend, can you pause? In the moment you want to retreat, can you soften instead? Can you just stay still and hold the love? Because, dear heart, these are the thresholds where unity is born. And the Council's promise is steady, sure, and simple. You are not alone. And love is winning. So open your heart, expand that sponge, explore the unfamiliar, and let the unfamiliar explore you. Now we move on to questions that have been submitted for our consideration today. And these are great questions. And I'm sure because when I looked at them, I thought, yeah, this speaks to what everybody is going through. So the first question, right after our heart call on February 7th, came from my dear friend Sue Brody. And it's about understanding boundaries, which is such an important part of unity. Every time I think about boundaries and that issue, I think of Yeshua's quote to us, his guidance to us. I told you to turn your cheek, not to let them beat you up. And I think it's a personal one for me. But here goes Sue's question. That old saying, fences make good neighbors, wasn't something I really understood. And now the newer term, boundaries, is something very healthy to incorporate. In your experience, is it letting go what doesn't bring fun or joy or love, or walking away if it isn't of love and sticking to your own needs? So that's the one side. Or is it taking a firmer stance, assuming you know what you need to serve, your highest, to say to someone kindly and matter-of-factly, no charge, no, that will not work for me, or I won't be able to help you with that right now. Now, Sue says she's noticed, and I certainly have, some people's programs is always saying yes and being of service to help others. I know if we're not guilty of it at the very moment, we've certainly all done it. Like it's imperative to show up and help others right now. No time to be selfish or self-centered, which sounds like a recipe for depletion and exhaustion. And Sue ends by saying, indeed, the staring at the wall time is becoming paramount to me. And I think, Sue, you speak for all of us. We need that staring at the wall time. I'm going to step aside. Greetings, I am Gabrielle, lily of love, trumpet of truth, messenger of one, spokesbeing for this council of love, spokesbeing for the mother, for the father, for the one. Long ago, we have said unto thee that the purpose of this council is to infuse you with divine radiance, if you choose. And we have done so. And I, on behalf of so many, thank you. Now, the other piece of timeless advice, dear heart, that we have given you is that the keys to heaven are love, trust, forgiveness, unity, connectedness, and balance. You cannot chop these up. So you cannot have unity if it means you, sweet angels, laying down your connectedness or your balance, or feeling that you are operating, and it is not because you are doing it out of love, and it is not, the requests are not coming from love. Why would you do that? Let me be very clear. The primary reason why there has been such divisiveness, such chaos, such hatred, such abuse upon this planet is because you wish to be in unity, and those who did not walked all over the collective and usurped power in the name of righteousness, in the name of whatever, but it was never in the name of true love, and it was never in the name of balance. There are times when you simply back up because you know this is not your task. This is not your war. This is not your balance. It does not add to who you are. And then there are times because we remind you, rebellion is about heart and conscience. It is a curious word, is it not? And it is something we very rarely speak of. Because what is conscience? It is your inner knowing, your divine knowing that something is not of love. Not just that something is wrong, like placing a utensil in the wrong place or a book on the wrong shelf. No. It is knowing that it is very anathema to your soul. Child, do not step back. For far too long, those who wish out of ego to have their own way, and that has been a very strong paradigm on this planet since the fall of the creator race, you step back and you allow. That allowing has created pain on every level, physical, mental, spiritual. It has created starvation. It has created war. It has created enormous abuse. What you do when you say, no, I'm sorry, That does not work for me. You are drawing the line. You are saying no. Further abuse, the continuation of a paradigm of the old grid is not acceptable. In any reality, in any frequency, in any dimension, in any timeline. As you do this, think in this alignment, as you do this today, you are doing it backwards, forwards, throughout time. So are you not just doing preventive work, you're doing remedial work. This is not just an illusion or a wishful thinking. This is you being very clear with your boundaries. Come on in, just let me be, or no. Yes, neutral, no. You need all three, beloveds. Just as we have said, unity, connectedness, and balance. You don't get one without the others. So often, you are the sweetest beings throughout many galaxies. I love you. And because you are of love, because you came to help, so often you say yes. When your heart, your mind, your body is screaming, oh, please, no. It is your divine sovereignty. It is your divine right to choose. Free will is the Mother, Father's divine, infinite gift to each of you and to each of us, by the way. And it will not be overridden. It is only the humans who wish to be in control who try to override your free will, sweet one. Brave hearts, stand up. This is not intended to be a bloody war. No. It is a rebellion of heart consciousness. It is a rebellion for. We are changing the paradigm, and so are you. I hope this is clear. Farewell. Okay, excuse me for water. There is no one right way, as long as it's based in love. And as long as it's based in, and we haven't talked about this, but your own divine authority. We have rights as sovereign beings. And I know because I have done it far too often, that I will say yes to something when really I know that for my own highest good, I shouldn't be doing it. I don't mean in joining in hatred or anything like that, but just stepping over the line, diminishing, respecting yourself. So, it doesn't need to be consistent. It changes. Those boundaries are flexible because we're flexible. And it changes depending on the situation and the circumstances. And how do we practice walking in somebody else's shoes if we're not open to sharing what we're feeling or experiencing? You see, sometimes when we say no, or no, that's not acceptable. What we're actually doing is opening up our hearts and allowing others to feel, experience what we're feeling and seeing and observing. So far from feeling put upon, we are actually sharing sometimes when we say no. Conversely, sometimes when we're not asked to share, as if heart sharing still requires that invitation, our conversations become far too stilted, inauthentic, surface stuff. I can't stand, personally, surface conversations. Can I do it? Yeah, I can do it. But do I like it? No. Because unless underneath, talking about the birds and the weather, unless that heart connection is really being felt, we're losing something. So, Sue, I hope that answers the question. Thank you. Thank you for submitting it. It's a big one. The second big question, or area that I wanted to talk about, because it fits in the how-tos, is the work that we've been doing in speaking Sador. Now, oh gosh, I'm not good on time. Ask me what a conversation was about 10 years ago. I can tell you verbatim. If you ask me what month we did this, maybe. But we've been practicing speaking Sador sessions. We did it in the Unity class. We did it in the Love class. And now we're doing it on a weekly basis. And it's facilitated by Council of Love teachers and coaches. And it's wonderful because it's speaking Sador, which is the universal language of love. And it's practicing divine neutrality and how we do that. And I wanted to ask, I think Kim Best is here with us, and I was going to ask her to share her feelings a little bit and impressions about how we've been doing on that score. So Kim, are you with us? I do not.
I am with you.
Great. What would you like to share?
I have been enjoying the Speaking Sador class. It has brought new enlightenment to my consciousness so I can change my perspectives on some past views.
Have you found it hard to stay in divine neutrality?
Sometimes, yes. The question that came up before was about triggers. And mine isn't so much the person or who, it's the content. Because I can go to the grocery store and be triggered by someone I don't even know. So that was like, okay, how can I go into those public areas and still stay in divine neutrality?
You
So that's
see,
working better.
good, good. Now, the thing that we've learned in doing these classes is that it is so important for us to really speak from our hearts, listen from our hearts or with our hearts, and to hear. And in the beginning, I know a lot of people in attendance said, well, what's the difference between the speaking and the hearing? First of all, when we speak, and we tend to do this, we speak over each other, or we can't wait if there's a pause for someone to really finish their thought. Number one. Then when we listen with an open heart, not only do we actually receive what that individual is saying, that individual who is speaking actually feels seen and valued. and cherished, loved. Now, what you listen to and what you really hear, for those of you in the group who are therapists, and there are several, you know the difference between what you speak and hear, and listening is very different. So what you hear is the subtext, the truth of what's being communicated. Now, one of the things I know that I'm doing and that I'm diligently working on is how do we translate that as we move out in this expansion to talking and hearing and listening to those that we may not have the same understanding, perceptions, or worldview. But if we're not willing to actually hear what's being said, what the real words mean, the energy of the words, then we're not going to resolve the divisiveness. Because this isn't about, I've heard many theories, and I know you all have too, is that what we're doing is that, some will leave Earth and they will go to a different planet and they will have their planet of chaos. And some people will say, no, since day one, this is a joint operation. This is a joint undertaking. It's not about a selective few, wearing halos and feeling good about themselves. It's about all of us coming together. And if we're not communicating as clearly, as succinctly, as lovingly as we possibly can, even when we don't agree, then we're not doing it. Does anybody have further comments or questions about heart speaking, heart listening, heart hearing before we move on? And I'm looking for either your hands or something in the chat box.
Lorraine has her hand up.
Go ahead. Unmute yourself. Who did you say it was, Isaac?
That was Terrain. Terrain, go ahead. Your hand is up.
I think she's saying no, she didn't.
Okay.
Or she knows she can't unmute herself. Okay. This is a tough one. And when we talk about speaking, of course, we're also talking about actions, writing, just our presence. Now, this is related to the boundaries question and what Kim was saying about, I'm fine until I leave the house. And I think all of us have had a dose of that, right? We can put on our layers of protection. Yeshua's guidance to us, Michael's guidance to us, is not to be cut down. But one of the things that I do, and actually came through the teachings of the Lao Chi, was that when I go out and I find myself in those situations, and I have to tell you, I very rarely go to the grocery store these days. Thank you, Isaac, because it's really a chaotic place. But I blast energy, just sheer energy, towards whatever it is that I'm judging and that's triggering me. So there's a couple of ways to do that. And I don't know if you can see my hands. You fold your hands like this, and then you point them. It's very unobtrusive, and it's a Lao Chi movement that a lot of people don't even know. So you fold your hands and you point your crooked little hands out at the person or the situation, and you're sending. Now, Lao Chi means love, light, movement. So you're sending the energy into that situation. The very first time we used it en masse was after teaching, actually, the 13th octave teachers in our house in San Diego, and we all went out for a delightful dinner after, and we were sitting in a restaurant, and a family came in with 3 kids. I would expect probably a wife that was being abused and a very abrasive man. And it started. And the whole, our table just went silent. Then all of a sudden I turned around and I noticed several of our participants were sending. And within minutes, that family was laughing and sharing and just having a grand old time. And so were we. So that's the one thing, reminding you of some practical tools. The second, of course, is just to beam directly from your heart and from your third eye. That's one technique. And you see these converge. So they're forming like a laser beam triangle, and then they're going directly into either the person's heart or the group's heart or the situation. And I need to remember to do that when I'm watching the news. The third quick little tool you can use, and people will just think you're expressive, and one of my favorites is a tool that Gabriel, Archangel Gabriel, gave us years ago, and it's a very technical term, it's called the whoosh. And what you do, I'm going to back up a little, and you collect the energy, and you feel it coming down through your crown, into your heart, into your hands. And it can be real or untangible, a situation, and you simply, quite literally, whoosh it out. That is like using the tsunami of love on steroids. It clears the way. We have so many tools at our disposal. And we know that, but sometimes when we're flustered, upset, just being triggered, we forget. So there's your quick handy dandy 3. Let's move on. I also want to address one of the elements that Simone Werner, one of our peace emissaries for the Peace Wednesdays with Tam and Suzanne. And she asked a question about warriors. And Simone, I'm with you in that questioning, by the way, because we are often called the warriors of love, the warriors of peace. Archangel Michael, who is knocking at the side door here, the archangels always come in and give us their full, it feels like a resume. And Archangel Michael always says, Archangel of peace, warrior of love, bringer of news. And I'm just going to do 2 things with us very quickly, because Saint Germain just came in on the other side. Okay. Greetings, I am Michael. Yes, Archangel of peace, warrior of love, bringer of news. My beloved circle, thank you for inviting me this day. For we have labored together for many years, and we have celebrated together for many years. But I want to address this word, warrior. Because yes, the terminology on planet has certainly come to infer, and the root from German and Old French is, in fact, to do with war. But it was also to do with the honoring of valor, with the honoring of courage, with the honoring of purpose translated into action. And if I am anything, artist and musician aside, I am an archangel of action. And when I work with my Legion of Blue, we are not sitting on clouds having a talk. We are in action. Now, secondary to that, far too often, those who think or who have absconded with authority upon your planet think of themselves as privileged, as strong, and carrying that warrior energy. So what do they need to be met as equals, head to head, heart to heart? The warrior energy that is not founded in the old grid, but upon Nova Earth. The individual, the collective, the army, the legion that is willing to stand up, not to fight with bombs or swords or guns, but to fight with the strongest energy throughout the Mother's multiverse. Love. Energy. Oh, you say, yes, but Michael, they are killing us. They are maiming us. And I am saying, dear heart, you have not brought yourself up to full speed, and I am anchored to do this with you, not for you, with you. Now, the other thing, the third aspect of this question is understanding since day one, and let me reassure you, day one was a long, long time ago. When we use language to communicate with you, and it is the language of love, it is not just the words, although they are infused, it is the energy. And it does not matter whether it is Spanish or Swahili, it is the energy. Every letter, every sound, every syllable, every vowel, every consonant is infused with love. So when I stand before you and say, I am warrior of love, I am giving you my heart, my being, my power, and my commitment. I will not let you down. I will stand with you, in front of you, next to you, behind you, above you, below you. I will defend you. I will protect you. And I will soothe your wounds of war. And I will mend, yes, with Germaine, I will mend your eyes that have seen too many atrocities, too much cruelty. I will mend your heart the heart of the wounded being, the soldier, the warrior, the peacemaker, because that is what you are. And that is what I am. So I give you, and I remind you, I have, and I repeatedly do, give you my sword and my shield, my staff, my hoe. You lean upon your staff when you are weary of the chaos. When you say to me, Michael, I am tired. I don't even know if I can take another step. I give you my sword of blue, of the laser of Porlana Sea, to cut through the illusion, to cut through the chaos. That is not an old school term. That is not an old sword to be used in ancient ways of cutting things to ribbons. It is a sword of creation. It is a laser light of love. And of course, the shield. The shield I give you again is my mantle of protection. I will not have these barbs slinging at you. I will not have those untruths, that cruelty infusing your field. I protect you. So know this, and that I am with you, and I am with you always. Yes. So know this. When I am with you, as warrior, as brave heart of love, of peace, let us proceed together. Let us proceed as the mother's legions. The entire multiverse is waiting. Your star family, your human family. You are mighty. And I like to claim you, magenta and green, pink and lavender. I claim you as mine, as my peacekeepers, as my architects, as my family. I am so proud of you. Farewell. Simone, I hope that helped. Well, we're coming to the bottom of our time together. And even though I stretched it and then stretched it and then stretched it again, let me say, in our closing comments, Sacred Rebellion is not just a book. It's a movement, and I am inviting you. We are rising in love. We are refusing fear. We are choosing unity. That is far more powerful than a revolution. It's not about proving anything. It's about transmitting. It's about being the frequency, the radiant frequency. We are not storming the gates. We're creating new cities of light to live in. The old can crumble. It doesn't matter. It's about transmitting. We are opening hearts. That's our job, plain and simple. And that, my fellow sacred rebel, is unstoppable. So, in closing, I, of course, have to give myself a plug. I'm way out there. I also want to point out that in addition to the Spiritual Rebellion, a 250-page package of love, I have also written a free study guide to assist and to expand on all the guidance, chapter by chapter, in the book. And while the book and the Kindle book, the ebook, is available today, I also have an audio version that is coming out probably this week, certainly shortly. I see that Isaac has put the link in our chat box. But you can also get that information on my author page website, which is lindadillonauthor.com. But as we close, and before we close, I want to extend an incredible special thank you to my dear friend Yasmin for these beautiful, beautiful flowers. Yasmin is the Divine Mother's florist, and she made this spectacular arrangement. She knocked at our door with Pablo last night to bring it, having worked, I hate to think how many hours on it, and it couldn't have been more spot on. All week, the mother has been telling me that the theme and the energy of today was pink. Pink, pink, pink. Pink is the color of grace, and it's the color of unity. So Yasmin shows up with this beautiful bouquet of pink. So Brew, thank you. And I want to thank all of you for coming. And I want to thank Ellen, because I know you will transcribe all these wonderful messages. And I want to thank Isaac for your technical support. And from my heart to yours, all of you, not only all my love, but happy Valentine's Day. Let's celebrate. I love you guys.